at this September's Reiki Business Summit, Mary is sharing with us 4 paths to Reiki business success. So, Mary, please do tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us a little bit about what you're sharing at the summit in September.
Right. Thanks, Christian. And, last year was great for me too. I learned so much from everybody that presented and from everybody that shared and everything like that. So I cannot wait for this time. But I think, like you said, I'm from Central New York, and I have had a Reiki business for about maybe 25 years, something like that. And I've kind of done all the different things within Reiki business. So I thought I would maybe talk about all the different ways that we can make money with Reiki. And sometimes when you think about making money, people are a little bit shy about it. Obviously, we don't have to practice Reiki in a way that's professional that makes money, but it is a great way to put healing out into the world and to actually have it be your work in the world, whether it's part-time, full-time, or whatever in between. But I'm finding that even with my own Reiki journey and path, I didn't really know where to start. And I kind of just looked outside of myself at who's doing this. How can I kind of copy what they're doing? They seem like they're successful. Maybe I should try this. Maybe I should try to be like somebody else, right? And so I made mistakes by doing that. And over time, I kind of have figured out, gee, maybe there's a different way. Maybe we need to kind of reverse engineer our Reiki business if we want to do it and be successful. So when I work with clients and students and all of that, I try to help people figure out, starting from who they are and what they want to bring, and how to create that Reiki business that is reflective of their gifts and the way they want to be in the world and what they want to put out there. And it's like just kind of a bespoke way of doing it. And so I'll talk about 4 Reiki business paths, the different ways to make money with just Reiki. Because sometimes, just like I used to think, my business in the beginning was called Integrated Energy Healing. And so I took every class there was, I took every program there was, and I just tried to do it all. I tried to be like my own spa. I had like a menu this long, like a scroll, and I thought I had to like have 15 different type of modalities in order to offer people. And I pared all of that back to just practicing Reiki. So I guarantee you that you can make money with just practicing Reiki, and that can be enough if you want it to be. So I'm not going to go into, because I could talk about this forever now, but those are the kinds of things I'm going to talk about, are the ways that you can make money with Reiki, how to figure out what stage of a Reiki business that you're in, or how to start out knowing the different stages so that you know where you are when you're moving through, where the Reiki business paths or the money making paths fit into each of the Reiki state of the stages of business and things like that. And then just like how to figure out where you fit in all of it, not just giving information, but how do you kind of navigate through that yourself? So I think it's going to be fun.
I'm talking about, creating your dream rates within Reiki. I think that this is such an important topic, and it's a really good topic for the collective too, right? Like, because we can make our own rates and kind of be in our own world and have our own, business. But there's a bigger conversation that can be happening between all of us, because sometimes when people set really low rates, really amateur rates, it impacts all of us in different ways too. And so setting a solid value for Reiki is something that I think is a meaningful conversation that we can all have together. I'm not sure if I know all the answers for you, but I know there's answers that I've had to really think about and contemplate in my own life and my own journey. About 15 years here in the world of Reiki and healing arts. Yeah, and it's really closely linked with what Mary will be talking about as well. It's what's you have to kind of consider what stage you're at in your business, and what's a reasonable rate that gets people in the door, gets you an opportunity to have a lot of experience working with your ideal clients, working with different clients, working with diverse issues with Reiki. And then, as you grow as a practitioner, how do your rates evolve with you? And, one of the things that I think is so hard, especially if we're living in this fishbowl and we're not having these conversations in community. And because so many of us have just kind of built our Reiki practice, we kind of built the ship while we're sailing it, right? And we've made a lot of mistakes. I really appreciate Mary. I made a ton of mistakes as a Reiki practitioner. So I think, we're coming together and talking about these common mistakes that can happen are really helpful. But one of the common mistakes that often happens is that people have a specific income goal with their Reiki business. And, they might just kind of set rates that they think might work or just seem appropriate for the area. But those rates actually, you are not capable of reaching your income goals given the rate structure that you have. And so many people lose, heart and think that they're not good enough or that they have failed in some ways, failed as a business owner, failed in their Reiki practice, or that, and it can lead to a lot of struggles with our self-worth. But the truth is that we need to have a solid business structure, including your rates. The rates are really the taproot of your business. Like, you think about how your business is funding you, supporting you, how you're paying all of the business expenses that come on your shoulders as a solo practitioner business. Setting a reasonable rate is really super important. It's a huge milestone that, if you're a beginner into becoming a Reiki practitioner, or even if you've hit a plateau as a Reiki practitioner, you just can't seem to get beyond a certain income. That's when you really need to start looking a little bit more at your rates. So, you might take other business courses not tailored towards Reiki practitioners, and they'll give you some really fancy advice, like set a really high rate for your Reiki sessions. Well, I will tell you that is a massive mistake, especially if you're first time in as a Reiki practitioner. You want to set your rates to be lower so that they're really accessible for people in your community, give you a really good opportunity to get some experience under your belt. But like I've said, most, business coaching practices will encourage you to set like a really high rate, like over $300 a session for your one-to-one services. And I don't think that really applies well in Reiki. I really consider my Reiki sessions as a great entry-level offering for any of my ideal clients, because I want to work with them energetically with Reiki. I want to see if there's a good vibe between us. I want to encourage my clients to get everything that, or to get comfortable with working with Reiki inside of their own healing and self-care. So there's a lot of different ways we can talk about it, but I'm going to have a whole hour to talk about this. So I'll pause there and give it back to you, Christian.
Now, how many of you, drop it down in the chat for us and let us know if you do currently teach online or if you would like to teach online, because teaching online opens up so many possibilities. Now, Michaela Daystar of Heartscapes Insights is a Reiki practitioner. She also does a practice called Soul Collage with cards that you make yourself. It's really interesting. And she teaches Reiki from the Japanese roots of the system. And Michaela last year was with us for the summit to present about a trauma-informed Reiki practice. It was a hit of a talk, and she'll be back with another hit of a talk talk this year on creating sacred, effective online teaching spaces, because when we think about teaching online, oftentimes we think it's dull or it's boring, or how can you really connect with people when they're all in a little box? But Michaela is going to show us how to do it, how to bring magic and sacredness to our online classes, so you won't want to miss it. Yes, we'd like to do more teaching online. We don't, Esther, but you hope to. Well, definitely Michaela is going to give you the tools to be able to do it well.
I am a physical therapist by background, and I learned Reiki back in the 90s, and for many years did both until I gradually blossomed into full-time Reiki, which was when I moved here to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Very strongly guided that it was time. So in 2008, I let go of the physical therapy, trusted my guidance, and began to share Reiki full-time. In 2013, I created Harrisburg, Pennsylvania's first Reiki center. It's called Reiki by Ricky, Reiki Space and Learning Place. And Christian, you've been there, which is awesome. I have a very full-time busy practice. I share probably on average about 24 Reiki sessions a week. Somebody once, I'm not a numbers person, I'm a service girl, and somebody once made me count how many Reiki sessions I shared in a year, and not including out at events and health fairs and wellness things, which I do all the time. Just sessions in Reiki space was close to 1,000 in a year, which just blew me away. So in addition, I'm certified in Reiki sound, and I'm a certified Reiki voice instructor using the vibrations of your voice, which also goes along with communicating Reiki as part of your healing. I have a mentorship program called Follow Your Heart and Do It Smart for other Reiki people and holistic professionals that are ready to go from what I say is from passion to profession. I teach all the Reiki classes, as many of you do. I also teach Reiki Kids and wrote a Reiki Kids manual, and I teach Reiki for healthcare professionals, bringing in that integrative approach from my physical therapy background to healthcare professionals of all kinds, because I think that's really, really important. Let's see what else. I also began, and I'm the host of Reiki Around Our World, bringing together a few Reiki masters from all over the world to talk about what's similar around the world and what's unique in different places. And, how do we bring our voices together for the good of the whole? So, I also, well, that's good enough for the intro for right now. I have a very busy full-time practice. And so, yes, it is possible. And part of my mission is to show you that if I can, you can too. And this is my livelihood. And I just love my work every day. Just full disclosure, I'm 68 years old, and there's way more coming. And that is very exciting to me. Things are continuing to blossom and grow. And we all know that Reiki is very much of an experience, right? That's how you know Reiki, by feeling it, because it meets you right where you are at every step of the way. And we also know that many times, in order to allow people to have that experience, we need to be able to do it justice with our words. And there's many parts of that I will be sharing at the Reiki Business Summit. But mostly, beyond our words, we want people to say, I want what she's got. I want what he's got. We want them to feel our energy and be attracted to that. And, because this is very much electromagnetic resonance, as all you know. So, in order for that to happen, it really always comes back to the basics of your self practice your breath work and your meditation, your self Reiki and the Reiki healing principles, keeping yourself grounded and being able to be out there in the world in a very grounded, consistent, persistent way so that you are always there and people know that they can count on you. So I'm really looking forward. I actually just wrote an article about 4 effective ways to communicate Reiki. So I can't tell you where that's going to be published yet. They said I'm not allowed to. But I will be sharing all those tips with you and hopefully much more, as part of the panel. And thank you again. Wonderful to see everybody today.
I was a teacher, primary teacher for 30 years. And I think that I know that during my 30 years, I was calling to Reiki because, we have a moment of silence after the national anthem every morning. And I taught little third graders and below. And we would do this little moment of silence. And I would say to myself, make me a channel for blessings for others every single morning. And I felt like that's what I was doing with my children. I really enjoyed my education class, and I've missed it terribly. I retired in 2014 and been traveling and having fun with my husband. And we moved to Vancouver, Washington. And I had asked in my prayers, and I've meditated all my life. I became awakened back when I was 25 years old. I had a wonderful experience of out of body, and then I had an experience with regression. And I went back to a time of a school teacher. And then I became a school teacher and I taught like a one-room schoolhouse. So what my background is showing people how to love themselves and to let their light shine. And that's what I'm going to be talking about, is how I built my Reiki business. And it's just a small business. I go, everything is done online. And so I can talk to you about how you can actually use Zoom to have an entire Reiki business. And I'm going to fill you in on, all of the things that helped me get there. I don't want to go into it so deep because it does get long when I talk about it. And we'll be doing that, at the Reiki Business Summit. So today, what I want to just tell you is that I'm here with love in my heart to share with all of you and to show you how I did that and how I was able to attract my Reiki customers. And I do more than Reiki, but what I found was that my clients, when I was giving Reiki sessions, I felt like they needed to come away from their monkey mind. And so I now give a meditation, a guided meditation, and then they go into a Reiki, and I do a Reiki session that is afterwards. So I've incorporated the meditations with my Reiki practice. And I also do angel workshops. I have studied about angels my entire life. And I feel like, I know my angels and talk to them often and go to them often, and have them guide me. And I will talk about that a little bit at the Reiki Business Summit as well. So I don't want to spend too much time talking about all the things that I'm going to share when I do my talk, but I'm so excited and I feel complimented to even be here, Christian. I thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.
So I'm Christian of Standing Stones Healing. I've been a Reiki practitioner since 2014. I never expected that I would have a Reiki business. Honestly, when I did my training, it was not to have a business. It was for my own personal and spiritual growth and development. But here I am. And here I've been for quite some time at this point. Gosh, I'd have to count up the number of years. I never know that off the top of my head. But I am talking talking about energetic email. So how to use email for your Reiki business. Now drop it down in the chat for us and let us know if you currently use email to send out like newsletters in your Reiki business, or if that's something that you are interested in doing, because many Reiki practitioners are overlooking email as an effective strategy for creating connections with their clients, for creating community, for sending out their energy, their love and light into the world. And so at my energetic email presentation, I am going to show you how to harness the energy of email for your Reiki business. So I hope you'll join us for that. It's going to be, I hope it's going to be an impactful and helpful talk, no matter where you are on your Reiki business journey. And I'm also offering a free online workshop on starting with email for your Reiki business. That's August 30th. You will get an invite in your inbox. Yes, I'll send you an email with an invitation to join that free workshop. Whether you join us for the Reiki Business Summit in September or not, everyone is invited to join that. You'll hear more about it in your email, so be on the lookout for it.